Stop doing your dumbbell rows like this. So I always see guys in the gym, they're trying to row, but they're really doing some shit like this. They're like doing like this. All you're doing when you're doing this shoulder up and down action is you're promoting poor posture. Rows is one of the best movements to actually strengthen your posterior chain and put you in the right posture if you do it correctly. Here's the right way to do it. So first and foremost, when you're rowing, you wanna make sure you get into what's called thoracic extension. That's where you roll the shoulder blades back and pin them down. Almost like you're putting those shoulder blades in that back pocket. Then what you're gonna do is hinge the hips back to get yourself in position. You don't wanna bend over, right? Because you do this, your shoulder shrugging, you're fucking up, right? So you wanna hinge the hips back, push the butt back to actually lower yourself into the position, making sure you keep a flat neutral spine. And what we're doing is we kicking those elbows back, right? We rowing. And I like to tell my clients, we kicking our elbows back like we on a ski slopes, like we skiing. The other thing is I'm bringing those dumbbells close to my abs. I'm not up here, right? Because that's a lot of rear delt action. And I'm not all the way back here. I'm right around that belly button line is where I'm at. I also like to teach, keep your head up, look at yourself in the mirror to make sure that the spine is neutral because the spine follows the direction of your head. Now guys, if this was helpful and you want more content like this, drop a flex emoji below and I'll do more. Stop doing your pull-ups like this. So I always see guys come in the gym, they're trying to pull up, but they're really doing some shit like this, or they're right here, or they're here, and they're not even coming all the way down. Cut that shit out. You're not actually engaging the prime mover in the pull-up, which is your lats. In order to be able to do that, you need to go full range of motion. Let me show you how it really should look. When I come up, when I'm doing any move that engages the lats, I wanna focus on rolling my shoulder blades back, thoracic extension, right? Head up, chest up, and then I want my elbow to be about 45 degrees from the body. So we're here, and then what I sort of think about is rotate those elbows in slightly, and I'm pulling my chest to the bar. Coming all the way down, chest to the bar. That posture is everything because I'm making sure to focus on my lats the entire time, and not so much as just my arms and getting myself up there. If you need regressions on how to build up to actually doing a proper pull-up, comment the word pull in them comments and I'll make that video for you. Stop doing your lat pull downs like this. I always see guys in the gym doing their lat pull downs. They're here, they're leaning back, beating that chest like a gorilla, or you're too upright and you're doing this right here. And what you notice, when you're doing either one of those two, you're not activating the lats at all. Really, you're doing more bicep work and rear delt work than anything. If you want to activate your lat, all about posture. So what we want to do when we're doing the lat pull downs is thoracic extension. So roll those shoulder blades back, head up, chest up. Make sure you get a nice grip on that bar. And I'm pulling it down to my chest and back up. Now, I'm coming as close to my chest as possible. Around the neck is good, and then I stretch all the way up. Here's the key thing. My elbows aren't back here. My L-bars are in front of me. They're about 45 degrees from the body. So we come here. This is what engages the lats. Nice, slow, and controlled movement. If this was helpful and you want more videos like this, drop a flex emoji in them comments and I'll do more. Stop doing your knee raises like this. So whenever I see guys doing knee raises, they're doing this shit all wrong. They're doing like this right here, or even worse, they're right here, doing this rocking, swinging. All you're doing is working your hip flexors. You're not really engaging your abs. To engage the abs, you have to bring your rib cage close to your pelvis. So when you're doing something that engages the lower abdominals, you're bringing your pelvis close to your ribs. So what you need to do is get those hips up over that belt line. Let me show you what I mean. When you're here, make sure you stop all the momentum by engaging the core. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna tilt here. That's abs. Here is hip flexor. But here is abs. Now notice, I'm controlling what? The legs on the way back down. I'm not really focused on just getting through the rep, but I'm focusing on getting my hips up over that belt line. If this was helpful and you want more content like this, drop a flex emoji in them comments and I'll do more. Stop doing your deadlifts like this. So I always see guys doing deadlifts. They got their back hunched over like Quasimodo from the nuts back in Notre Dame. They're doing this. They're doing two different movements where they're doing like That right there, stop that, all right? You're gonna fuck your back up. Here's what you really wanna do. Let's talk about what muscles are getting engaged on the deadlift. It's not necessarily a pull off the ground as much as it is a hip hinge. So focus on getting the hips, glutes, hamstrings, and even your lats engaged. Let's talk about positioning. That bar should be right over your shoelaces. So you wanna be this close to the bar. And when we come down, I'm shifting my hips back to get to the bar, not just squatting down. So what we're gonna do, push that butt back, keep a nice tight core, neutral spine. We get here, then once we get that bar, I'm gonna do something called pulling the slack out the bar. So I'm gonna kind of yank it up, it's already coming up, bam. I'm just focusing on shooting my hips forward. If you come down to the bar and you hear that extra kind of movement of the bar shaking between the midsection of the plate, you're not engaging your lats, your posture and form's all fucked up, you asking for back pain. If this was helpful and you want more content on deadlifts form, comment the flex emoji below and I'll do more. Stop doing your rear delt flies like this. I always see guys doing rear delt flies all wrong. They're on the bench like this, they're hiked up like this, and they're flapping back like they're a fucking pigeon trying to fly. Guys, if you want to train your rear delts, it's important to understand the function of the rear delt. It's an external rotator, which means its responsibility is to allow your shoulder to go from here to here. Once you get beyond the plane of your body back here, guess what? You're not training the rear delt, you're training your rhomboids and traps. Here's how you want to isolate that rear delt. When you get in position, I like to sort of position myself on this bench where I'm like folding forward. This way, it's much harder for me to come up because I actually have to flex my spine to get up here, right? When I come here, I'm reaching forward and I'm focusing on flying out instead of back. Right about there is all you need to go to really get those rear delts involved. So again, I'm not coming back here. I'm coming only to about right here, right at the plane of the body, right? Now guys, if this was helpful and you want me to do more content like this, drop a fire emoji below and I'll do more. Here's a quick fix to fix your bench press. Posture and tempo. A lot of guys have the fear that they're gonna go in the gym and because they are new to strength training, they're gonna hurt themselves. This fear just comes from lack of knowledge about two things: the proper posture to perform exercise and the proper tempo you should be training at. Let me show you one of the movements everybody fucks up. Bench press. So many guys come into the gym, they on the bench with their fucking feet up like they taking a nap and they just pumping. They doing all this shit. And then they wonder why their elbows, shoulders is fucked up and they ain't got no chest. That's because not only was your posture fucking trash, but the tempo you training at is not conducive to strength. You basically doing cardio with weights. Instead, follow these cues I'm gonna give you. With the bench press, you wanna focus on driving your feet through the floor. You want your butt on the actual bench itself. Now look at my lower back. It's a little arch that's creating a little bit of space and giving me the proper posture for my pressing. And what I'll tell my clients to do, pause at the bottom for about 2 seconds, come up fast and down slow. I'm controlling the weight and allowing my muscles to get involved and not relying so heavily on my joints to get me through the movement. That's it. Start to do things like that with all of your movements, especially with the upper body in the gym. You won't experience a bunch of fucking joint pain when you're doing it. Now, if this was helpful and you want more content on how to do exercises properly, go ahead, drop a flex emoji below and I'll make more videos for you. Stop doing your lateral raises like this. So I always see guys in the gym, they lateral raising, they out here half squatting, flapping their arms like a fucking bird, look like they're about to lead a gym. Then you see them doing all of this and that. Hey, cut that out. You're not doing anything. You're risking injury and you look fucking stupid. Do this instead. Lateral raises is a way to isolate the side delt, the side of your shoulder. And the thing about it is you want to think about two things when isolating that part of your shoulder: where your elbows are placed and the tempo in which you do the movement. I always tell my clients, don't raise from here. Don't raise from the front, do it from the middle. So about 45 degrees from the body. That's thing number one. Thing number two is you wanna come up, pause, and then come back down slow. We're gonna come up, pause, and then come back down. The reason you wanna do this is I actually am activating the muscle instead of flailing up and down, activating a bunch of different muscles that are not supposed to be involved in that movement, and I'm not getting my joints involved. That's why a lot of you are experiencing a bunch of fucking pain when you're doing this movement and other movements, because it's all momentum and not the muscles doing the actual work. Come up, pause, come down slow, and you'll feel this and other isolation movements are way more effective. Now guys, if this was helpful, you want more content like this, drop a flex emoji in the comments and I'll make more. If you get shoulder pain when you're bench pressing, try this. So when you're pressing, elbow placement is key. Where your elbow is in relation to your body is going to determine which muscles are working. So when your elbow is up here, you're kind of creating like this 90-degree angle. Look at what muscles are working. My delts basically doing all the muscle movement here. When I tighten the elbow up and I come here about 0 degrees from the body, that tricep is doing all the working. Now, see what happens when I come about 45 degrees from the body? Look at how much chest activation I'm getting there. That's ideally what you want to go for. So a lot of guys experience shoulder pain, their elbow's too fucking high. So it's a huge difference in your pressing. If you're coming here, you're pressing up here, you're asking for shoulder pain, but you want to bring those elbows down here and press from the midline of the chest. I'd say like around that nipple area is where you want to go for. Try this on your next pressing session and let me know if it was helpful. Stop doing your cable crunches like this. I see all the time guys try to do cable crunches. They're in there doing this shit. They doing all of this. All you doing is back snaps and hip thrusts. You're not really working your abs. Let me show you the proper way to do this move. The key to any abdominal movement, especially when we're talking about the upper abs, is you want to bring your rib cage close to your pelvis. But what has to happen here is your hips, your butt can't be swinging back and forth. We ain't hip thrusting, man. What we want to do here is get your hips locked into a nice position. You want those elbows tucked around the ears, and you want to tuck in and back out. Now, I'm not coming all the way up. I'm just coming partially, and I'm tucking in as far as I can. As your back bends, that's when your abs actually contract. So this is what you want to focus on. It's a movement that you can really load up, aggressively overload those abdominals, take your ab gains to another level. Guys, if this is helpful and you want me to do more content like this, drop a fire emoji below and I'll do more. Here's a simple trick you can use to get better at squatting. So let's say you've been trying to squat, right? And you got that grandma squat, right? You here with it, right? You can barely get any depth, or you only get to parallel, but you can't seem to get lower than this, right? A lot of that's due to like tightness and weakness, right? Tightness around the hips, weakness in the hips, hamstrings, glutes. And here's a simple trick that I do to help me and my clients get better depth. I like to pre-exhaust with the hamstring curl. I would say most Americans have a desk job nowadays, and as a result of sitting, you have really tight hamstrings. So it's a great way to loosen those up, get some blood flowing into them, get connected to that muscle, and actually get depth in your squat. So I come here first, I do about 10 to 15 reps, and then what I notice is I can get a lot deeper in my squat. Try it out at home. Drop a flex emoji below if you want me to do more tips like this. If squatting hurts your knees, watch this video. A lot of you guys squat and claim you got knee pain. What you don't realize is there's nothing wrong with your fucking knees. The real issue is the muscle groups surrounding your knees. 9 times out of 10, you have what's called quad dominance. So if you got knee pain, your quads are really hyper engaged when you squat. You're squatting like a grandma. You're doing this shit. And what we really want to happen is to engage the hips and the glutes more so that when you squat, you actually shift back and down like this. And here's a great hack to help you with that. You're gonna need a band, just a resistance band that you put up around the knees. And then when we squat, what we're gonna wanna do is we wanna open up our stance. Check my feet out. This is about shoulder width. I'm gonna come outside of shoulder width and slightly rotate the toes out like this. What that's doing is that's activating my hips and glutes more. So now when I shift back and I put some pressure out against this band, that's gonna cause me to get into that external rotation that's gonna open those hips and glutes up, and I'm gonna have a more functional squat. So if this was helpful and you want more content from your boy, you know what to do, man. Go ahead, drop that flex emoji below and I'll make more videos.